What do you do with a Spider-Verse 2? I mean, it's obvious, right? They meet again, maybe we throw in a few new characters, love story develops, save the multiverse, but I just don't know if that's enough. See, Spider-Verse was the original comic multiverse movie. I say original because now DC and the MCU seem to each be making some attempt at addressing the multiverse in their cinematic universes. And am I thrilled? Of course. Since the Silver Age, the multiverse has been one of the most exciting and liberating aspects of comics. You want to tell a weird story that doesn't gel with the established continuity? Well, it takes place on a parallel universe. Do you want to bring those characters into the mainline continuity? I guess they could travel through the multiverse, and hey, if you want to really mix things up, have Superboy Prime punch reality so hard that everything just kind of fits together. That's a real thing that happened. And the Spider-Verse is a relatively recent concept, being formally introduced in 2014 by writer Dan Slott with the Spider-Verse event, but it has become one of the prime examples of how the multiverse can be used to tell fun and new stories within the medium. And Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was a terrific success. It's one of the best comic book movies, one of the best animated movies ever made, and besides a million other factors, like a wonderfully dynamic visual style and some really inspired casting, Spider-Verse works because of how well it managed to adapt the multiverse to the big screen. But that was all the way back in 2018. What was groundbreaking has become commonplace. The CW shows have been doing multiverse crossovers for years, and 2019's was a very loose adaptation of the Crisis on Infinite Earths event. Hell, the Teen Titans traveled through the multiverse in their recent movie and used it to do an Avengers Assemble. And even Lord and Miller, who produced Spider-Verse, tested the multiverse idea back with the Lego movie in 2014. Sure, technically the Lego movie all takes place in one basement, but that line where Wildstyle says, your world is only one of many worlds and they go through some kind of wormhole, like that's exactly what happens right before you travel through the multiverse. I'm going through all this trouble to make the point that even though it was a groundbreaker, Into the Spider-Verse 2 needs to be more than just a multiverse movie. And at least I think Spider-Verse should do a musical. I am a huge fan of musical theater. I always have been. I was raised on 90s Disney, saw a ton of Broadway musicals as a kid, as an adult. I even was in a couple of musicals in college, and I think the movie musical is an excellent entry point to get younger audiences interested in musical theater. So I've been hoping a superhero thing would do a musical thing for a while. Like, you've got Teen Titans Go to the Movies, that was kind of a musical, and one Flash episode, and then there was that god-awful Spider-Man musical, but none of those really hit. They haven't been big successes. But I believe Spider-Verse is perfectly positioned to be the first big superhero movie musical. And the superhero movie has more in common with the musical than you might think. Both are usually larger-than-life stories about the triumph of the human spirit, the big difference being, in a superhero movie, the story develops tension that leads to an emotional high point that usually results in a big action scene. Musicals are the same thing, except instead of the action scene, the emotional high point is a song. So here are the 3 reasons why I think this needs to happen. First, the actors are pretty much all singers. Like, Miles is played by Shameik Moore, who is a singer/rapper, who's also a really good dancer. Not that that makes a huge difference, but hell, have Miles Morales dance, I don't know. Gwen is played by Haley Steinfeld, who is also a singer. She was in the Pitch Perfect movies and has released 2 EPs. And then, when you really get into the supporting cast, you've got Spider-Man Noir, the great Nicolas Cage. I didn't realize this, but he sings. Here's a clip of him Nick Caging it up in Wild at Heart. And then you got Spider-Ham, John Mulaney. Can he sing? Yeah, sure. He sang on SNL once or twice and in his Netflix special. And then, Penny Parker, Kimiko Glenn. I didn't know this when I started writing, but she is apparently a Broadway singer who was in Waitress. I'm pretty sure I saw her back in the day when it was on Broadway. She plays the third nerdy kind of waitress. Then Spider-Man 2099, Oscar Isaac, inside Llewyn Davis, baby, he's got pipes. So yeah, stacked cast. You may be wondering though, what about Peter B. Parker, aka Jake Johnson? Well, listen, he had a bad experience. A couple of years back, Johnson sang "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" for the Chicago Cubs, and, this happened. So, not a lot of singing since then. But he's got a good sense of humor about it, so maybe that's his character's arc. He doesn't like singing, but then gets over it, sings at the end of the movie. After all, singing is a leap of faith. What if we started throwing other Spider-Men into the mix? Can the live-action ones sing? Well, Tom Holland got a start on Broadway in Billy Elliot. Garfield, he can apparently sing too. Not sure about Tobey, but we can get a double for him if he can't swing it. Heck, maybe get Reeve Carney to do the singing for Tobey Maguire. That'd be fun. Reeve was the Spider-Man in Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, the god-awful Spider-Man musical. But it wasn't his fault the show stunk. Let's give him a second chance. He probably loves the character Spider-Man. And some Spider-Man movie background characters. You've got Jamie Foxx's Electro, aka Ray, aka he has always been an R&B singer, who is not only in Amazing Spider-Man 2, but apparently is going to be in the next Spider-Man movie. You've got Gwen Stacy, La La Land's own Emma Stone, Dr. Octopus, Fiddler on the Roof's Alfred Molina, MJ's Kirsten Dunst, who sang in Spider-Man 3, MJ Zendaya, who's just a plain old singer, Jake Gyllenhaal is Mr. Music, Jared Leto is in 30 Seconds to Mars, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch. But let's not forget the TV Spider-Man, who are some of the best in the bunch. Drake Bell, Neil Patrick Harris, Nicholas Hammond, who played him in the live-action show in the 70s, was in The Sound of Music. Christopher Daniel Barnes was the animated series. He was Prince Eric in The Little Mermaid. Does that character sing? I don't remember. Maybe. You've also got Josh Keaton from Spectacular Spider-Man, who was young Hercules in the Disney movie. Did he do the singing? Apparently not, but still. Okay, listen, the point is, between the Spider-Man casts, we have some serious musical talent, and it would be a shame to waste it. But forget about the singers for a second. Let's focus on the songs. Spider-Man is already one of the most musical movie superheroes. He has 3 different, distinct movie themes. 3 animated themes, including what's perhaps the most memorable theme in the history of superheroes. Villains in multiple movies sing his in-universe theme song, The Itsy Bitsy Spider. Into the Spider-Verse has an incredible soundtrack. Spider-Verse Gwen is in a band. You've got moments like Raindrops Are Falling on My Head from Spider-Man 2, The Jazz Club and Emo Spider-Man from Amazing Spider-Man 3. Amazing Spider-Man 2 has that Awful For You scene, but also has that bizarre electro score, which apparently some people like. I don't know, man. Spider-Man Chris Pine made a Christmas album. Hell, one of Spider-Man's villains is weak against sound, or I guess all of the symbiotes. Oh, also Tom Hardy doesn't sing, but I bet it would be fun to watch him try. He's also a good sport. So we've got singers, we've got songs, but do we have a story? Of course we do. What if we did something like this? So we don't see Olivia Octavius die, right? We see her get hit by a truck, but compared to getting punched by someone with the proportional strength of a spider, a truck's nothing. So let's say Liv got hit by the truck, knocked out, and then fell through the multiverse, and she lands on Earth 138. Now, Earth 138 is a musical Earth, ruled by the fiendish Dr. Rocktopus, played by Jack Black, of course, and Liv teams up with Rocktopus to create a particle synthesizer and assembles all the other Dr. Octopuses from all the other dimensions to make a spider-killing army. Spider-Man 2099 notices the disturbance, brings the rest of the Spider-Man to Earth 138 to stop the Ox. On that Earth, they meet Spider-Punk, who doesn't want anything to do with them because he's a loner and cool as a teenager, but ends up working with the team, and together they defeat an army of octopi. And Earth 138 will be a musical Earth, so everyone will burst into song as a rule of the universe, which will mean our heroes will be fishes out of water. And who would play young Spider-Punk, aka Hobart Brown? Well, maybe the most well-known of the musical Spider-Man characters, who I didn't even forget in the first draft of this. Let's get Donald Glover to play this character. He could do Rebellious pretty well, and he's got a really good singing voice, so I'm sure he has the range to cover whatever Spider-Punk ends up actually sounding like. It's perfect. There is an appetite for movie musicals. Besides Disney, look at recent stuff. Star is Born, Greatest Showman, Mamma Mia, Rocket Man, and the Bohemian Rhapsody, but still, a lot of those made a lot of money. This will make a lot of money. I'm not saying that I do not believe Into the Spider-Verse 2 will be good if they don't do this, or 3, or whatever. I'm sure they will come up with something awesome because they came up with something awesome before. And I have a feeling if this is something they're doing, they've figured this out by now, because this cast has so many musicians in it. It feels like too crazy to be a coincidence. But as a Spider-Man fan and a musical fan, I feel kind of burned. I actually never saw Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark on Broadway, but I've listened to the music and I've read about it, and the story behind it is bonkers. But that is not the best musical Spider-Man can do. We deserve this. Spider-Man deserves this. So that's my pitch. It's not really a pitch, because that's not really a story. It's just the Into the Spider-Verse story with the Inheritors, but if you switch the Inheritors with Dr. Octopus's, which I think is better because I never really liked the Inheritors anyway, but I think this is a fun idea. I think Spider-Man fans would love it. I think musical fans would love it. I think kids would love it. I don't know how to end this video. Oh, and one more thing. If you want to learn how to edit videos so that you can, say, make your own video pitching how Captain America would also make for a wonderful musical, which it absolutely would, because, God, there's such a fun musical style there. You can set it in 2 different time periods, so you can have the first half be a really traditional Broadway kind of South Pacific kind of vibe, and then once he moves into the present day, the music can get a little bit more contemporary. Anyway, if you want to make your own video about that, I would highly recommend looking at Jordy Vanderput's classes on editing in Premiere Pro and After Effects on this video's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community that offers membership with meaning. With so much to explore, real projects to create, and the support of fellow creatives, Skillshare empowers you to accomplish real growth. There are classes in productivity, design, writing, video editing, so much more. I always recommend fellow YouTuber Thomas Frank's class called Productivity Masterclass, How to Build Habits That Last, if you want to become more organized and productive. And if you want to learn Premiere and After Effects editing, I would highly recommend Jordy's classes. You can learn and grow with short classes that fit your busy routine. Skillshare is also incredibly affordable. Annual subscription is less than $10 a month. And if you would like to join the millions of people already learning on Skillshare today, my subscribers can click the link in the description to get a 2-month free trial of premium membership so you can explore your creativity. Explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity with Skillshare's online classes. What you find might just surprise and inspire you. As always, I have to give a humongous thank you to everyone who continues to support the channel on Patreon. You guys are the best. If you want to see your name up here, get access to videos early, other cool stuff, throw in literally any amount of money at patreon.com/NandoVMovies. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. Also, listen to my podcast, Mostly Nitpicking, where every week me and my co-host DJ pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. It's a lot of fun. We talk about movies that come out every week. You can find us wherever you listen to your podcasts. We're at Nitpicking Pod on Twitter. Also, follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/NandoVMovies. It's a lot of fun. I play games sometimes. Last thing, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. That's all I've got. Stay safe. I'll see you guys next time.